J-Man. I am Jason, defender of geekdom. My true calling in life was revealed to me the day I had discovered YouTube. I have the power! I became J-Man, the most powerful geek in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret. My friends Steven, Owen, and Sean. Together, we defend geekdom from the evil forces of social media. J-Man.
Hello, everybody. J-Man back here in the Phantom Zone. And we're going to be talking about something that everybody wanted. It is going to be Krull versus Ice Pirates to get back in to the Space Opera Tournament officially to qualify. Here's where we are at right now. After doing Enemy Mine, we all decided that it was too good. So we removed it from the tournament. And we thought we would do the People's Choice Awards or whatever. Everyone shat their pants when Krull lost, and they cried. And they called me the Krull killer, and they cried some more. And then their parents called me, and then the parents cried. And it was just everyone was crying. It was pathetic. So I was like, okay, let's put Krull back in. And then there was Ice Pirates, which people somewhat cried over, not as much as Krull. But anyway, they're both back in. There is a poll in the chat. Please vote for what you want to come back into the Space Opera Tournament. Now, when it comes back, I already have the brackets open up here. So it's actually going to go into Space Hunter. So I kind of randomly did these. This is going to be the actual tournament now. They're all kind of mismatched. None of these movies are really matched up against each other, but we'll talk more about it once we decide who wins this one. So it's a little bit mismatched, but I think that's going to make it more interesting than if we just match them against a movie that we think, should win or is similar. So we'll get to that afterwards. All right, so we're not going to do this alone. We're going to bring in our panels. I got to find all their intros here. All right, let's bring in our first panelist. Hey, Steve.
Hey, J-Man.
Hey.
I'm sorry to hear that people were crying at you all.
They were crying. I see you're wearing your patented Halloween 2 Fright Rag shirt. I'm wearing my Legion of Superheroes Superboy shirt.
Nice.
Sean's wearing a shirt. We just watched, oddly enough, I just watched, my wife had never seen, there's 3 or 4 more Godzilla movies she hasn't seen. One of them was Godzilla on Monster Island, which is also known as Godzilla versus Gigan. So we just watched that for the first time on the weekend, and 2 seconds for Godzilla Day. 2 seconds after we watched it, they released Godzilla versus Gigan Rex. I was like, what the hell? And she's like, this is what a cool coincidence. I was like, I did not know that was coming out. Obviously, I didn't know that.
Right.
So it came out. I'm like, well, you just watched Gigan, so let's do Gigan Rex. I love Gigan. He's right there. There's a big one there, and the original one's behind, and then the other another Gigan is up there out of camera. So there you go.
Great character design.
Oh, I love him. All right, let's bring in our next panelist. And Sean, you've got Ghidra, the 3-headed monster. Nope, you have Godzilla versus Gigan.
Yep.
That is so weird. So we're all on the Gigan train here after that Rex. Gigan's my favorite ever. It's like I got the original friggin' toy, like an old one from gosh, it's got to be 20 years old. I should check the date on it.
I always thought he was the best. He
was just awesome.
And he sparks the imagination with that buzzsaw stomach. It's like, how the hell does that guy work? It's like
he can't do. It's like, he hugs you and then he saws you, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's the jigsaw. He's like the serial killer of the Godzilla series.
He can't pick anything up either because he has those hook arms.
Who needs to pick shit up?
How's he picking stuff up?
You got
Or
he's got
just
a
hooks
bean
it, just spears it,
and
and
goes and eats it. It's like chopsticks or whatever.
yeah.
All right, let's
I
bring
want
in
to see
our,
eat noodles.
let's bring our fourth and final panelist. Hey, Charlie.
What's going on? I didn't get the wardrobe note. I'm wearing black because I'm gonna kill someone's favorite again tonight. So I don't.
Oh,
know.
yeah, someone's going to be upset.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to see these votes already. So far, there's no vote. So come on, guys.
No votes.
Voting. Listen, I better see a legion of people showing up for this.
Right? This is for them, man. If
Yeah.
the Krull fandom, this is your time. Technically, we're not really going to be deciding this if enough people show up. If enough people show up and vote, it's the people's choice for the wild card slot.
It is because, like, for me, looking at this, and Steve and I were talking about this semi-privately, semi on my wrestling talk, which is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, but 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't even know when it is. We were talking about it a bit. And the winner, this is going up against Space Hunter. I was like, and Steve's like, one might come in and we're going right on.
Yeah, but hey, we're giving them their chance. This was randomized, man.
This
so
movie is going to be the Warlord at the Royal Rumble in 1991. In one side of the ring and out the other.
Jumps in, gets tossed over the ring ropes right after. That's it. But we're giving them a second chance. I can't help who they ended up against.
Yeah, so I kind of randomized this.
I think it's great. I wanted it. I think it should be randomized for sure.
Yeah. So it's like it's all mismatched, and it's actually weird because, well, Space Hunter versus Krull or Ice Pirates is probably the closest matched one. We'll take a better look at it at the end.
Yeah, I mean, Raiders and Star Crash isn't terribly mismatched. I could see it, but your versus Forbidden World.
I mean, that is so weird. And
Outland versus Battle Beyond the Stars is Sean Connery versus Flying Boobs. So it'll be fun. That
is going to be tough. All right. Well, somebody was not. Who missed? Steve or Sean? Did you guys miss one? Steve, what did you miss? You missed the initial Krull.
Yeah, I missed Krull versus Yor. I missed the
infamous
moment on this channel today.
That was the most dramatic moment.
That was like the first and most chaotic one.
Well, because the problem with that was that I had only seen Yor off of Sean's bootlegger Fangoria, disc or whatever, and it was shit quality. And then when I got Yor on Blu-ray, I watched it immediately. And I thought, this is a lot of fun. I really like this movie a lot. And then it kind of just got shelved, and life happens. And then when we just started doing this again, I'm like, well, let me rewatch this, because I remember thinking it was a lot of fun. Like, I remember people saying, "Oh, this is cheese and crappy," and I thought, I kind of legitimately like this. Like, I don't think it's like that bad.
Oh yeah.
And then I watched it. I was like, this is like the greatest movie of all time. And then I made a Facebook group on it, and everyone seems to be pretty happy with the Facebook group.
We're having a blast, man, getting the picture.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm on.
You
part
copped
20.
out today, but we'll give you a break. It's the weekend.
No way! I gave everybody a simple one for the weekend.
You gave it a simple one.
I gave a simple. Professor Bill from Comic Book Universe. Professor Bill's like a friend of mine who an acquaintance, I guess, more not acquaintance. Who I met at my comic shop, and he's got a channel that does comic books, and he's got like 20,000 subscribers. Like, he's like no small channel. And so he goes, I didn't know about this. He was upset that we were playing D&D, and I didn't let him know. I was like, I didn't know you like D&D. And turns out he's been playing TSR Face Rip Marvel. I was like, oh man, I like that. Oh my god, that's my game. Like,
that's your game, man.
That's my game, man. That's like, I've got 2 copies of that game. I'm like, shit, that's me. So he's like, okay, he's gonna try to work me into Face Rip, and I'll try to get him in on classic D&D. But right now we're doing Spelljammers, so we're having fun doing that. Could not be reached. What's going on, dude? You're tearing me apart. Listen, do you feel like Tommy Wiseau? And am I Lisa because I'm tearing you apart?
Yeah, you're. That's exactly what I
Shit,
thought.
I still got to watch that movie. I totally
Oh
forgot
my
about
God.
that.
Apparently so.
Oh my God, Charlie.
There's too many freaking movies to catch up. I got a
Yeah.
stack over here. Like I just got Maverick, which I've already seen it.
Yeah.
But I picked up Bullet Train because I want to watch it again. And then I found my Walmart had Steelbook Blu-rays for $7.50. So I got like Reservoir Dogs, the First Blood, Rambo,
Whoa.
and I'm just like, I got them just because they're Steelbook. But the Reservoir Dog one is the Mondo cover, the stylized artwork and everything.
Yeah.
So now I have a whole new stack after I just got through the other stack I had.
So I didn't even know that my Reservoir Dogs came in like a tin gasoline tank thing. Have you seen that?
But this is
I've seen, I know this picture.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that had come out. So mine is weird. I'll show you. It's it's literally in the other room. It's like a gas tank.
That's cool, like a gas can.
Like a gas can, or maybe a lighter or something. And
they got it on the smaller version of it on the cover.
That is my DVD. So it might be. You know what? It might be DVD.
You might have DVD. This is Blu-ray, and it's so our Walmart will do like the cheap $3.40 DVDs, and they throw them all in a bin.
Yeah.
Well, they also have the $7.50 ones thrown in a bin. Right. And my wife and I started digging. We just stopped there for some random stuff, and I'm like, "Why is the Steelbook in here?" I found the Rambo one. Then I found like a ton of other ones I already had the Blu-rays, but then I was like, Reservoir Dogs on a Mondo for $7.50. Like I had them double check the price. I was like, "Yep, $7.50." I'm like, "Done. I'm buying it."
And just scan it and say, I guess so.
Yeah. They had a Valerian Steelbook, but that was like 13 something, and I was like, "No, I'll wait." I actually put that one back, even though it's still kind of cheap because I love Valerian and that in Blu-ray. It's a gorgeous movie, but I couldn't turn down a Mondo. I mean, I have the Highlander Mondo release too.
I was bored by Valerian, but
I didn't watch it. It looked very neat.
It's gorgeous.
It looks cool at times, but I don't know, just something blah about it. Maybe I should watch it again. I don't know.
Well,
you just don't like the French. That's what it is, Sean. It's fine.
I bought that for $5 Blu-ray at Walmart. Well, we have a $5 bin.
There you go.
Because everything's more expensive here. It's
everything's more expensive here.
It's not $3.95.
Coolish Dan, what's up, man? Thank you for coming. I recognize your name. Thanks for popping back in. Yeah, we do this.
We love 80s cheese
every Friday. So every Friday
cheese. Any cheese.
I love cheesy movies.
That's right.
It's got to be for me. That's why when I review, I'll explain the way we're going to do this for people. Well, Coolish Dan is new to this, I think. The way we do space.
No, he's been around.
He's been around, yeah. I don't know if he's been around for a space thing. I don't remember, but the way I rank movies is I go by space, story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. I give a score for each category out of 2. 2 is the best, 0 is the worst or bad, and at the end you get a score out of 10. So for this one though, because this is a versus, we're gonna pick which story is better. So Ice Pirates or Krull, what story do you like better? And at the end, we'll figure out a winner. And the reason we're not doing our actual, we're not scoring these out of 10 because we kind of just love these movies. And I did score them actually myself. Like I did score them when I was watching them for later use for when we do this versus. But these two movies score very close. And there's really only like 1 or 2 categories that are the deciding category for me in this case for tonight. It's not like there's been a few verses where we're like, this one's clearly better. You know what I mean? There wasn't too many jobber matches. So that's how we're going to do it tonight. And I guess I'm going to give Steve an opportunity to talk about Krull and Ice Pirates because he wasn't here for Krull. Sean, were you here for both or no?
Probably not Ice Pirates.
He wasn't here for Ice Pirates.
Okay, perfect. So you guys can talk about that. Works out perfectly. So my thing was, I saw Krull as a kid. I saw Ice Pirates as a kid. I owned them both on VHS or whatever. I watched them both. I think I saw Ice Pirates more than Krull, but I'm not sure. It's so close. Like these two movies are childhood movies. I don't know if I had Krull on VHS now that I'm thinking about it. I may have been watching it off of TV, or I think I rented it and taped it. I 100% owned Ice Pirates on VHS for sure. And I remember getting it downtown for like $4.99 or something.
Yep.
And but Krull, no, I don't think I had the VHS, or it was like one of these like buying it from a store. I would go into shops and buy their copies because I don't know if Krull ever came out properly to actually buy. So I loved both movies. I didn't really have a preference. I never got the Marvel comics of Krull. I love the Glaive, obviously. To me, Krull was the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Not called Dungeons and Dragons. It's get a cool weapon, fight a bunch of different guys, fight the boss at the end, rescue the girl, and it's like literally a D&D adventure. Ice Pirates was just a bunch of fun guys hanging out, going on random missions or whatever. So, Charlie, tell us quickly about your Krull and Ice Pirates, and then we'll get to Steve and Sean.
Yeah, mine were childhood too. I told the story in our Krull thing about how I was so dead set to watch it on television, and the power went out right before Krull started.
Oh man!
So it's always going to be like jaded in my memory. Yes, I've seen Kung Fury. That is awesome.
I can't remember if I saw Kung Fury. I have to look it up.
I think it's only like 15-20 minutes if that's the one I'm thinking about.
Oh,
that's like
yeah,
totally
the song
80s.
from Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff does it.
I did see it. Sorry, I have seen that.
Yeah,
and Spawn. That's how we saw
True Survivor. That's the
yeah,
name
true.
of the song.
Yeah.
And Ice Pirates. What kid hadn't seen Ice Pirates growing up, man? I mean, that was just a staple. The cover of that VHS was always just like rent me, and that's how I had watched it originally. So that's my growing up with them. Is I watched them as a kid. Don't watch them all the time, but in doing this, it was fun to go back to them. So
cool. All right, so Steve, you could mention both Ice Pirates and Krull. How did you find them?
Well, Krull I saw as a kid like 100,000 times. My parents liked it. I saw it probably off of VHS, and it was probably a taped version that we rented it, and then my dad taped it, and I watched it a bunch of times. I was like Krull. I thought it was one of those. I didn't know what the genre was for it because there's so much different things in there. You got like space creatures. You got mythological creatures like the Cyclops and that, and the fire mares, which, it was an awesome movie and a childhood favorite. Ice Pirates, I think I mentioned this before. You showed it to me as a double bill with Tron.
Check out, look at what an awesome friend, man. I am. I'm like, I've got to be ranked in the top 3 best friends of all time.
Had you you hadn't seen Tron before that, Steve?
No, I hadn't seen Tron. Oh my
God, what a day. Like, when is it?
Jesus Christ, buddy.
Hey, you didn't watch Enemy Mine till last couple weeks ago.
That's because,
settle down, J-Man.
Hold on a second.
Settle down.
Hold on. That's because I didn't have a top 2 friend like me to show me those movies. See?
My bad. My bad.
I'm telling you, I just went from top 3 best friends to ever have to top 2 best friends to have. And Sean, I'm almost at top 1 because I got married first and my wedding was dirt cheap and there was only 20 people there. And then Sean and his wife immediately they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, we got to do the J-Man wedding."
The J-Man version.
The
J-Man wedding.
It is a J-Man wedding. I'm gonna
bring your own beer, chair, table.
I'm gonna do a video, the J-Man wedding, and then this is I'll give you the tips or whatever. All right.
Really, the reception is the key. Yeah.
Yes. No, don't give away the secrets.
Yeah. No, that really is like those are receptions were in the best restaurants ever. It's like
J-Man done started a new Patreon. You see him typing over there right now.
Yeah, I'm
it's
doing
the J-Man
tip.
There it is, man.
All right, so Krull. Okay, so Krull, you watch much times. Ice Pirates, I showed you with Tron. Wow.
Yeah, and it was just before Tron Legacy because you're like, you have to watch Tron before you see Tron Legacy.
That makes sense.
So you could be disappointed by Tron Legacy. Yeah.
Oh man,
I love it.
It was good.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't buy G.I. Joe Inferno. Public service announcement. Don't buy it.
PSA.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it. I didn't revisit it again until we saw it on its merry way when it faced Space Raiders, which was shocking. I wasn't here for the first major upset, which J-Man still hasn't lived down to this day.
Yep.
But I was here for the second one. And I think we almost lost. Could not be reached for further comment after that second one. I think he almost like boycotted the rest of the tournament, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, they're both. When I rewatched Krull recently, I didn't feel I needed to because I've seen it 100 times, but I did rewatch it. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be a tough one because they are two similar movies, but very different. It's going to be interesting.
All right.
Skeptic, what's missing on the G1 Inferno? Just put it in the chat. I'll assess this for you.
Sounds like I got
what are you
this.
saying?
I got this.
It's a G1 Inferno.
So Generation
Inferno
1
was the
Inferno.
fire truck guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. G Inferno. I know who you're talking about. I thought you said G.I. Joe. I was looking. I can't read. It's like super.
It's a
tiny
1 or a J. It's fine.
It's like everything's super tiny on my screen here. That's why I try to put it up on here, and even then, it's like this big on my screen, and my eyes are garbage. Yeah, so get a G1 Inferno. I mean, $50. That seems
$50
good.
isn't bad. You could get the fists. Usually the fists are the same for a lot of those characters. But look up on eBay, like G1 fists or G1 Inferno fists. That sounds bad.
Be careful how you Google that. Just be cautious.
And see how much they are.
You're buying a toy. Not
Even that's
sort of
dangerous. Got to be careful saying that too. A fist toy.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Fist toy. So Krull, I said this before. I saw it drive-in when it first came out in '82, and fell asleep. I fell asleep every time I saw it ever since, except for the 2 days before the first match for this. I managed to sit through the entire thing without sleeping, and I don't know how the hell that happened. But
I
it's
believe
like
that it was probably something along the lines of A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, I was 5 when I saw it, and I was 45 when I finally saw the entire thing, and it's
40 years later.
40 years later, yeah.
Woo! Look, it's awesome. It's the glaive and everything. It's cool, but like the more I saw it a million times. The more I saw it, the more I realized, like, oh my god, like, and we'll get into it. It's like there's some slowishness to it. Ice Pirates I saw in the theater. I think it came out in '84, so I must have been 7 or so. And my dad took me to see any sci-fi thing, right? So like Buckaroo Banzai and all that, right? So
awesome.
Anything that came out, and so I thought it was awesome. As a kid, I was like, oh my god, like when you're a kid and you see a bunch of stuff, I understood as a kid, like, oh, it's a bunch of cool stuff, right? And it's like, oh, they're on this planet now, and there's this big thing with the big wheels, and there's this dude with a head that comes off, and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And the whole time thing I thought was fun too. I remember being grossed out by one small thing in that movie, where the one guy picks his nose, like the alien guy. And it's a really throwaway thing, but it's funny. I got grossed out by that. We came home and my mom had bought like a Black Forest cake, and she was no, and I don't know why, and she's like, she got a big slice, like, oh, here, and I couldn't eat it because I still had that snot in my mind, and I was like, I can't eat this, but I didn't want to tell my parents why. Because I thought if I tell them it's the movie, they'll be like, we won't take them to any more movies.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just felt my stomach, it's the popcorn, right? And like, oh no, like they gave me Pepto-Bismol, so I didn't even need it.
Oh my god.
Anyways, that's my Ice Pirate story. But I loved it as a kid. They played it all the time on TV. I got it on DVD as soon as it came out. That's back when they actually had the real posters for the DVDs. Yeah. Until some dude with Photoshop just like, well, let's put this crap on. I always thought it was awesome, man. And it's like one of those weird anomalies, like, oh my god, how they make this weird movie, And it's just this one flash out. There's no sequel or anything, but it's so rich, Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of great, cool stuff in it. So yeah, and Bruce Valanche for some reason.
Bruce Valanche.
he was the top. Was he the top left square or whatever he was?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. From
he doesn't have a beard, and he has pelican chin, right? In this one.
Yes.
Yeah. And then later he grew the beard out to make it look like it's just a beard.
Yeah.
And then now he's shaved it off and it looks like Pelican.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's great.
Well, okay, so that's good. That's good. All right, so I guess we'll get into it. So we already did this before with Krull and Yor and Ice Pirates and Space Raiders. So, but I mean, we're comparing two different movies now. So this will be sort of what we're going to do, the same kind of thing that we did before, except with just these two movies. And so we're going to start with story, and I can start. I'm going to pick for the story. I'm going to say that I like Krull's story more. It's a D&D adventure. There's a lot of weirdness where things happen that don't need to happen. But look, I'm a dungeon master. I like this. I like the idea that it's like, okay, I've got this thing. It's like little mini missions. I can almost envision this as like a 4-session game. Like, all right, guys, let's do this beginning part. And then at the end of session 2, you're going to have the super weapon. And then, we got to do that spider. How are we going to beat this spider? Mm-hmm. Whether or not it actually makes any kind of sense properly in some sort of narrative, they're trying to put stuff. Maybe it doesn't make as much sense. But Ice Pirates has a lot of wonky shit anyways, and maybe the storyline is simpler in Ice Pirates. But I'm just going by I like Krull's story better. We know which category it's going to be. There's only one category for me that almost didn't tie on this movie. Like there's maybe two categories. Like to me, these movies are pretty much equal in my enjoyment value and what I like about them and whatever. There's one category where one wins over the other. So we know which one that's going to be. We all know which one that's going to be, I think. But for story, so I'm just picking what I like more. I think I like Krull's story better. I like getting the glaive and going to fight that monster. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I think that's kind of neat. What can I say? So that's my pick. Let's go with Charlie. Next.
I was hoping to hear everyone else.
Oh, you want to go? Okay. No.
Let me go last.
Okay, no problem. Let's do. So, who wasn't here for Krull? Steve wasn't. So let's go Steve then next. Steve, what was your take?
I
like Perceptor.
Perceptor's awesome
character.
Yeah.
I had G1 Perceptor though, so
Inferno was a cooler toy. Inferno G2 was the same thing, but he could shoot water. That was cool.
Yeah.
Anyways,
continue on.
Steve.
It's Krull. It's weird. When I watched Krull, I figured out what it was, and as a kid, I wouldn't figure out. They do a lot of talk at the beginning of the movie about why Colwyn is awesome,
right?
But then they have to show him being awesome. So they spend a lot of the rest of the movie being awesome. I'm going to make a very strange comparison for Krull. It's going to be to something called a Hitchcock movie called Torn Curtain. The reason it reminded me of Torn Curtain is in Torn Curtain, Paul Newman has to kill someone with his bare hands and it takes a long time. When the fight is happening, you're almost like, oh my God, what is he actually going to be able to kill him? Because yes, it would be very difficult to actually try and kill someone with your bare hands. Like just not premeditated, just like you come across a guy and you have to kill him.
Yeah.
I feel
that's why in Professional, that was close combat was the last thing that Leon taught her. Remember, he's like, it's easier to be a sniper because you just shoot and you're disconnected. But the closer you get, the harder it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I feel it's the same way Krull. Like they're showing how difficult this quest is at every turn.
Right.
Sometimes really like annoyingly so. How difficult it is to climb those rocks, how difficult it is to go across the web, to the main area, the center of the web.
Right.
I found that it was just more focused at we knew what we were doing every step of the way. We were going to get the glaive, then we were going to try and find the Black Fortress. We go and find the seer. Nope, that didn't work out so well. Okay, let's go to the Widow of the Web. Well, we figured out, but we lost someone. Then we go, and how are we going to get there across there for 24 hours? We got to get a fireman. Like, you're right. It is Dungeons and Dragons, but it was always like a focus to it. And I like that focus. I found Ice Pirates not focused. I thought it was just a rambling adventure where we did a bunch of things, but there was times where I was like, what are we doing? Who are we talking to? Why are we talking to them? Why does this guy do anything? Bruce Valanche is his head comes off. Okay, cool. Why are we talking to him? What's this about again? There was a few situations there where I'm like, every individual part of Ice Pirates is cool, but it was almost like someone said, it'd be cool. Let's go out to the desert and see this guy and then get attacked by these random people. Okay, cool. Let's go and find a guy who can take his head off. Cool.
Right.
Let's go and find, there was no overarching vision. They found the planet at the end. It was the punchline. It was Earth. Cool. But everything else was a very rambling, they're waiters at some point. They're on a conveyor belt at some point. What the fuck? At the end of it, it's time keeps going forward. I'm like, this is a very wacky movie, but I literally have lost the narrative somewhere along the way. I'm just along for the ride at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. Krull, you never lose the narrative, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It's what is Ice Pirates? It's what is it about? It's it's just them going on random. It's just randomness. It's just random things with these people.
Yeah.
But some people like that because it's just oh, this is fun and exciting. What's going to happen next, right?
Yep.
So there's that aspect to that too. But yeah, I like it. I like D&D, so I like that. I know that even if this scene doesn't connect with this part, okay, we got to beat this spider thing.
Yep.
Do we even need this in this movie? Well, it's a giant spider. Sure, we need it. I don't know. Sean, what do you think?
I'd say Krull is the better story because Steve summed it up with Ice Pirates. The problem with Ice Pirates is it's too meandering and rambling. You don't really know what this is about till partway through, and then it changes again, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
It's they're the concept of Ice Pirates is awesome.
Yeah.
And it seems we talked about this before. It just appears like it's a real actual sci-fi movie that they just toss jokes in, right?
Right.
But all the sci-fi concepts of water is scarce, and then it's easily transportable with ice, and with the ice you get ice blocks, and it all kind of writes itself. It's pretty cool. But then you got all this so what do we do with this? Well, they get captured, and then they get threatened to be eunuchs, and then they and then they're hired to go find the father, and then there's a time thing, and oh my god, it's kind of all over the place. Characters don't really have arcs. There's no one learns anything.
Right.
Unlike the Robert Earl Urich knocks up the princess or whatever, but he's still him, and when his son grows up, he's still him too. So he's him in duplicate. So in Krull, the main guy doesn't really learn anything. He's just this amiable dude, he's laughing at the British comic relief guy and all that.
Yeah.
Those guys, I would say that the best. Well, we're not talking about character, but I'm talking about in story wise. The best arc in that is the leader of the bandits and stuff. That guy's cool. But the arc is kill the bad guy, I guess, and that's gonna solve everything, I guess, and that mountain will go away, I suppose. But the story is fairly linear, even though it is fetch quests. It's still we gotta do this thing. To do that, let's go it's D&D. We gotta go to this wizard. No wizard will give us this. This will give us this.
Yeah.
This will lead us to the we gotta go to that Spider Woman to then go to the freaking cave or whatever, right?
Now that I'm gonna steal this for Spelljammer because Sean, you have to bow out for this campaign. I'm just gonna do Krull because everybody else who's playing has never seen Krull. Wow, this is crazy. I could literally rip that off for Spelljammer because it makes sense.
Just don't make it so long and meandering. But anyway,
I never do.
It's 4 or 5 minutes to get across that. And that's great.
I was not expecting that at all.
Got some new tricks in the bag. I would say Krull is the better story. They're both weak stories, man. Let's be honest here. But I'd say that it's the better story because it has a focus to it. you know, and Ice Pirates, like it's just all over. Like they don't even go anywhere with the space herpes and stuff. It's like, you know, you
It's just
figure
a
it would go
punchline.
into like a big creature or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go with Krull.
All right, Charlie, have we convinced you to go to the Krull side?
So this was one of the things that I was concerned about going into this little matchup here. Ice Pirates is still a parody of what Krull is.
Right.
So for every failure, or I don't want to say failure, for every flaw Krull has, like we're talking, like we're going to go here. Now we got the spider's web thing. Now we got to go get the glaive. Now we got to go do this. Ice Pirates is making fun of that. So when they just inexplicably end up on a planet to go talk to a dude and Mad Max shows up, that's the joke.
Right.
So in writing, you have to know your what you're going to write about, what you're making fun of, and understand it for the joke to land. Ice Pirates does that. Now, Krull is the better story. That's just neither here nor there.
Right.
But again, we're talking minute differences. This is almost a tie because Ice Pirate fixes in their story almost what Krull fails at. Is it still keeps it entertaining as the story goes. It's almost the same story. If you really just broke it down, aside from the glaive, which I have my issues with the glaive, and we'll get into that in artistry that I already did in the first episode, that Krull is a better story, but Ice Pirates knew what they were doing when they were making fun of the genre on a whole.
Right.
So we can't say, oh, it sucked and I don't know what they're doing. That's the joke. How many of these movies do we watch where it's like, what are they doing?
Right.
Where are they going? Like you just watched Galaxina and you're like, why are we here? That's why we're here. Because you watch another movie from the 70s or 80s and go, why are they there? And it's a serious movie, but that is the whole punchline of Ice Pirates. Ice Pirates does veer way off, and we talked about that when we did it, that it's just like, what are you guys doing? Like, I get you're just going to these different places, but then you lose it in the time travel part. I still say that, as funny as it is, the time travel part of that movie just kills me. Not comedy wise, I laugh. Story wise, what the fuck, guys? Come on, seriously. I mean, the one dude that ages himself and he has like the white afro hair, and now we watch Galaxina and he's got the shaggy dog hair because he got aged in the movie. You got to understand the joke, but you also have to understand what you're making fun of. But story, as long as Charlie's meandering, it's fine. But Charlie knows who he wants to win this, just out of spite. But I got to give this to Krull. So, story to Krull.
Yeah, I think okay. So this is the two things about, firstly, qualifying round, secondly, the tournament itself, and third, my space method. In my space ranking system, Ice Pirates would be ranked against other spoofs.
Yeah,
right. So how good did Ice Pirates spoof that genre in story? You might give it a 1.5 out of 2, maybe a 2 out of 2, and be like, wow, this was genius the way that they made fun of it. Galaxina would probably be like a 1 out of 2. Yeah, I get what you're doing, but you didn't do it as well as Ice Pirates did it.
Who did it better, but they're both spoofs. Right. And that's the ultimate. Like, I love comparing these, and it adds a little bit of a challenge, but we have to realize this is a spoof movie against one that's a legit space travel adventure movie.
Right.
So you can't go, well, that story sucks and doesn't make sense. That's the joke.
Right. Yeah. So if you're using my space way to just evaluate the one movie, then it's perfect. And in the qualifying round, Sean and I decided, and we tried to do it so it's like you can kind of like pick the better of the two. You know what I mean? It's like, which one is the cooler of the same version? I didn't realize that I hadn't watched Galaxina in so long. Otherwise, I would have done Galaxina and Ice Pirates and Space Raiders and Star Crash. That would have been better.
That would have been an awesome lineup.
Right.
But those
And
were
then-
good. Those would have been jobber matches though too.
Yeah.
Those
That's
would have been
true.
like, after we sit there and watch it, is Galaxina ever going to hold a
Oh,
candle
God.
to Ice Pirates?
Never.
Hell no.
Never. It's never going to
Not
be
even
that.
close.
Yeah, not
And
no.
same with Space Raiders versus
Yeah,
Starcraft. I know
Starcraft is-
you have a
Well, I love
affinity for
StarCraft.
Star Crash.
Yeah.
But we all sat there and watched Star Raiders going, holy shit, this movie's actually a hell of a lot better than any of us really remember when we started watching it.
True, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. You all of a sudden you're like, damn, there's a story here and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's not going to last long in the tournament,
Yeah.
but it still is a good movie.
Well, it's better than what we thought it would be or whatever, but not like Enemy Mine where it's so good that it's not.
It's better
not-
than
Yeah, we had
Space
to remove
Mutiny.
it.
You know, yeah,
Yeah.
we had one so good we had to remove. So that it's okay. We'll do
Well-
better on the next tournament. It's fine. We got this down, guys. We got this figured out.
Yeah, I know. Why? But and that this is why it's cool now, because now we're gonna get the best of whatever we've got, and now it's gonna go. And basically, we're saying, is Ice Pirates a better spoof movie than Krull is a better science fantasy?
There it
movie?
is, right
That's
there.
like, and that's what we're ranking.
And
we're
it's
gonna get-
ultimately going to come down to, like you were saying, just a couple of categories are going to
Yeah.
split the hairs of this.
right.
I mean, really. And I mean, yes, it's funny if Krull gets defeated again just for the joke,
right,
but this is legitimate though. Whenever we actually break, now there's 4 of us.
right,
This whole thing, this is great. The other ones, it was just 3 of us each.
right.
Now it's 4 of us to really break it down, and and now we're going to take the people's vote into
Yep.
accordance.
And I've got 75% for Krull right now.
Mm.
Okay.
So 75% for. I'll check out towards the end. Okay, I'll continue with pacing. Obviously, Ice Pirates for me is way better paced. Krull has a lot of slow parts. You could probably cut out some stuff. Ice Pirates, because there's no storyline, you can cut things out. But the no storyline is the storyline, and I'm never bored because I'm always introduced to something new. And even if I know what the new thing is, I know they're going to make fun of it. So it's fun to see how they're going to make fun of it.
Right.
I'm not gonna say anything more about pacing. I think, I really think this is like super obvious. If someone thinks it's Krull, present your case. And I love Krull, and I love both these movies. I think it's like, I don't know what the rankings were, but it's like 7.5. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that's how close that these movies are for me. Phantom Outsider, what's going on, dude? So I'm gonna say Ice Pirates is definitely the better paced. Because I'm never bored throughout that movie. So Charlie, do you want to continue on?
Yeah,
I think you're with me, right?
Yeah, well, it's obvious because what our biggest complaint about Krull when we originally done it was how slow it goes. Something happens and then nothing.
Right.
Something happens, then nothing. While Ice Pirates, if we cut some things out to make the story a little bit more linear, that's fine, but we lose most of the jokes and a lot of stuff that, like, we can bitch about the little alien stuck on the ship, but that movie's known for that bit. Space herpes.
Right.
Without that, you wouldn't have this meme going around still of it.
Right.
Krull, you can actually cut stuff out of that movie and make it better.
Right.
Make it faster paced. Make it more cohesive.
Oh, you said the magic words.
Exactly.
Hold on, where is it?
You gotta find it.
I didn't have it ready.
I'll just say random words until you get it ready.
Yeah, say random words.
It's random.
How can I not find this?
I don't know where you put it. It's fine. What's going
I don't know
on?
where it is. Oh,
It's-
here it is.
Make it better. Turn up the good. Turn down the suck. Turn down the suck knob.
Yeah.
You said
literally.
make it better. Make
Make it better. Turn down the suck knob. Quit. Like Sean has fell asleep for 40 damn years, man. Speed this movie up, please.
John is very sleepy though.
Did you sleep?
You can feel it, dude. You can feel it.
That's right. Did you fall asleep during Ice Pirates though? No.
No.
So see, there you go. That's why. So Ice Pirates, obviously for pacing.
Yeah. All right. Let's go, Sean.
Well, Ice Pirates, because it just bounces from one thing to another thing pretty quickly.
Right.
You know, like just when you think those iron jaws are about to nip their balls, they're into this other thing, and then they're into this. You know,
Right.
it's like
That's very problematic. It looked very clean.
Yeah.
Like, how does it get cleaned up?
I don't understand. Yeah, it's not.
I never understood. Even as a
It-
kid, I
yeah.
thought this is weird. Like, okay, but then where does it go? Like, would it be bloody from the last guy? And like, where does the
Well, they depict them going on those things with pants, and it doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. Like on that conveyor belt,
right?
It's
Because they
not-
can't have nudity. That would have been a rated. That would have been an X rating if they did show.
It was
nudity.
cauterized as it did it, so there's no blood. It's
Oh,
fine.
I
got
guess
you.
so, yeah.
I
But they
have
don't.
no idea.
They don't. It's like they cleanly like. There's other guys before them, like immediately before, and you don't hear them suffer. You don't.
No.
I don't know. Well, whatever, man. You're not supposed to.
We're
question
really
it,
going to
man.
break down
Yeah.
the circumcision part of this.
I know. We really need to. I got to know.
Like, what's
Yeah.
the shaving cream supposed to do anyway?
Yeah. You need the Robin Hood Men in Pants where it's just nip the tip. Who's
Yeah.
first?
Yeah,
That's all.
the boil. Yeah.
The girls love it, Sean. It's fun.
Look, it's gotta be Ice Pirate. Like Krull, we got crushed by that the last time, and it's a running gag with that movie. Like, my God, you could shave off like, you know, it took them 4 or 5 minutes to jump each rock to get to that glaive area. Why? Just get there. It's like you know that you can have him walk, and then the next shot he's in the glaive area. You could do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sean,
Like
you don't understand alloys and compositions and things with molecular
like
structures.
the music is awesome in those scenes, but
Yeah.
but that's, and it's just like an excuse to show off, like, oh, I'm gonna like orchestrate the hell out of this, right? You know,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I paid for the whole damn song, Sean. We're putting it in the movie, and
Yeah.
it's just going to play.
James
Those
Horner's
flyers- those-
score, man.
Those fire horses make me laugh. I always bring that up when Steve's like, oh, it's awesome. It's like the freaking horses kill me because it's like they go there and the horses are galloping for like 4 or 5 minutes and like nothing happens. They're just like, oh my God, the horses, and then they come around again. And it's like, oh my F, and they got the folio effects with the
Yeah.
oh my God, and then they get on the horse. And then they fly for another 5 minutes with the mega music. Anyways, it's Ice Pirates.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
that was a lot. It's like,
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
And-
But he
and-
brings up a good point. For as much as everyone bitches about like Lord of the Rings, it's like all they did is walk. Even the trees walked. Watch Krull, because that's where it started.
That's where it's
Yeah, and I would make fun of that all the time. But like, look, man, Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And-
I'm not
and
saying
the-
it's
and the
not. I'm
si-
just
and-
saying it's the joke.
Yeah. And those 6 movies now are better because there's no other. It's like Star Wars used to have like good movies, and now they don't.
Yeah.
Different stream. All right, Steven, what are you going to be will Steven be peer pressured into saying Ice Pirates, or will he go on his own and
I
say
think he'll
Krull?
remain strong. I don't know.
And
Let's
will,
see.
will he remain strong to Krull and also be and at the same time be completely wrong? All right, Steve,
He
what
needs
do
a
you
little
think?
taste of that first stream. That
No, I'm
was
not
chaos. There was a
peer
lot of peer
pressured.
pressure.
I'm not. There's no peer pressure here. I'm picking Ice Pirates anyway.
Right.
I will say that the pacing for Krull is fine to me because, again, everything is supposed to be hard. This is a
Right.
very hard journey. This is a very hard thing. You couldn't just climb on those horses bareback. You have to catch them. You have to put the saddle on them. They're still wild. They're running away. So I was cool with all that.
Right.
However, as a viewer, you don't want to see that for 5 minutes. You don't want to see any of his stuff for 5 minutes. It is what it is. Ice Pirates has to be better paced because that's what it's got going for. That's what it was going for, is one adventure after another, right? It's almost like an anthology thing. We're here now. This is what we're doing. We're here now. There's something interesting going on pretty much all the time, which is what you don't have in Krull. There's that whole scene where the blonde girl is trying to seduce
That's right.
Colvin. That can be done.
Just shave it off, man. That's way too much effort.
I
Just
know.
Manscaped.com. Just go there. We'll get sponsored one day. It'll be fun.
Oh, I'll take any sponsor.
We
I'll
don't
take
care.
anybody. I'll take Satan worshipers. I'll take anything. It's like, I'll accept money. I'll accept donation from Satan worshipers. No problem. Look, he's not that bad.
We're equal opportunity over here. It's
Equal
totally
opportunity.
We're beggars. We can't be choosers. Anyhow,
All right.
yeah.
So,
So,
yes.
I mean, there's that whole thing where the girl is trying to seduce Colvin, and it goes nowhere, and it's this whole thing by the Beast where it's like trying to, but he's a big ugly monster. She's never going with him. Like I almost feel like saying she's never going with you. Like just give it up, right?
Look, bro, she said no, man. She said no. It's fine.
Yeah, she said no. Today it would be like this whole anyhow. So yeah, Ice Pirates is a lot of adventure and fun. Krull is a lot of adventure, not so much fun. You have to go with Ice Pirates for pacing. Krull is 2 hours. It shouldn't be 2 hours. It should be
that was
maybe 95 minutes at most.
90 minutes. I've been watching so many 90-minute things, and when something's 90, I really want to do a stream about this. I want to do one yesterday about the current state of horror movies, which is either you get a movie that's piss, or it's amazing.
Yep.
It's like it's literally like Terrifier 2 versus like Barbarian. You're like, what happened? Like, who are these people?
It's amazing, man. I've never seen a genre like that where it's either boom or bust, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, but then like I mean, I don't know. Okay, so what are we on? We're on artistry now. I'm gonna not go first on artistry because this is a tough one for me. Who is there? Do any of you have like a for sure winner? Both you guys? All three of you guys?
Let Steven go.
Okay, Steve. Yeah, continue. Yeah. Go with artistry. What do you think, Steve?
It's Ice Pirates.
Okay.
It's Ice Pirates. It was very tough. I love the Black Fortress. Like the interiors of it are just wild. I love the little snake, the little serpent things that come out of the heads of the Slayers when they're attacked. Like when the fake Seer's attacked, his entire head goes into the quicksand. That's crazy to me. I love the fire mares. I love all the artistry about Krull. However, there's some weak parts. There's some weak parts. When she's holding the fire at the beginning during the wedding, the marriage ceremony, you can tell it's not fire. You know how you can tell? They have actual fire in the frame with her. It's flame. It's working. And I just looked at it, I'm like, that's not moving properly because I have the example there. It's not like I'm being a snob. I can see it. Colvin, I'm sorry. The tight striped pants just bother me. He looks like a gigolo on an adventure. I do not like the tight pants. And there's just some like wonky crap in the movie. It's just a little bit wonky. The Black Fortress looks like styrofoam painted especially when they come up to it. It literally looks like styrofoam bits. I'm sorry, it does. I love this movie, but it looks like freaking styrofoam painted black. They don't look like legit rocks. There was just too many things where I saw it and I'm like, ooh, and it took me out for a minute. Ice Pirates, I never got that feeling at all at any point. I think all the sets were awesome. The makeup was awesome. When they did the aging, it was like shockingly good and it was consistent. There was nothing like the little guy, the herpes thing. Yeah, it looks weird, but it's not like, there's nothing that took me out where I was like, oh, why is that there? Why does that look like this? Why does that look like that? There was just too many little things. I didn't like the Slayer's weapon shot one shot and then it became a sword. I'm like, you only need one shot? Like, why does it go from range to melee that quickly? It was just weird to me. And there was just things I was picking up during Krull with the artistry that I didn't see anywhere else, right? With Ice Pirates. I love the music of Krull way more than Ice Pirates, for sure, right? But everything else, I'm giving it to Ice Pirates. Overall, I'm giving it to Ice Pirates.
Okay. Sean?
I'm giving it to Krull. My issue with Ice Pirates is it's always looked very cheap and wobbly to me. It looks very much like a spook house you'd walk into on Halloween, with a whole bunch of stuff. It just, I don't know. It looks cheap, especially that big stupid vehicle that they're driving. I mean, in concept, it looks like a great battle vehicle from a Kenner line or something, but it's like it's kind of, I guess that's supposed to be the point, but I don't think it is. Where it's like all kind of like wobbly and stuff, and it's like sort of like big wheel bike wheels and stuff. Krull, yeah, I get what you're saying, Steve, about that the styrofoam look, but I feel like most of that movie looks like an actual place to me. You know, especially that swamp area is like crazy good. I know that's on a soundstage somewhere, but there's a lot of great detailing in the outdoor stuff, which is not outdoors. I know that, but for the most part, the Slayers are amazing. It's a imagery that's never really been taken advantage of since this movie. They look awesome, and are very unique to this. The music is freaking amazing. Like, oh my god, you know, like like this movie doesn't deserve that. You know, yeah, no, I just feel like Krull and like a lot of the stuff in the fortress is very stylized and cool looking. I mean, I know a lot of the time it's forced perspective shots or like or matte shots or stuff, something like that. But I like the look of, like, the aesthetic look of it. Like someone sat down and designed these cool things, right? Like that big hand that looks like a forced perspective shot to me, but like that big hand where the princess is on and everything. I think it looks a lot more impressive and of a loftier scale than, I know, like it's probably got a bigger budget than Ice Pirates, but it just feels more like a world to me than Ice Pirates does. That's just me, I guess.
Yeah. Charlie?
Ice Pirates, man. Everything Steven said about Krull, it's just too generic for me. It's too bland. We talked about this on another stream about how the exterior just looks like, oh, we're out here, or it looks like it's on a soundstage, and that's a problem with Krull, especially watching it now higher def. It all feels like a soundstage. It doesn't feel like they're outside in a lot of them. Ice Pirates gives us everything from robots that look freaking amazing. I love the robots in that movie, especially the ones they keep trying to fix. The short one that does karate, I love all of that. You know, the chompers to take their nuts off, we were just talking about. I mean, it's just every little place they go. I love the Mad Max vehicle. It maybe looks wobbly, but I do believe that's part of the joke. How insane can we make it? It literally has a space herpy head on the front of it. So that already tells you we're going overboard. But I love that, especially when they're in the other vehicle with them. They got the frog lady with them. You know, the costuming is so much better in Ice Pirates as it continues. The glaive is badass in Krull, but it's a shitty freaking weapon at the end of the movie. It literally takes 10 minutes to cut through a door, and I complained about that the first time we did it. And I don't like the bad guy in Krull. I really don't. I don't like how he looks. He's just kind of bleh. And we don't have like the main villain, bad guy, alien looking thing in Ice Pirates, but we have enough that I am entertained with how it all looks. And from the ship interiors to where it changes to other ships interiors to the different planets with, the headless guy, Bruce Valanche, I believe they're in his harem. I believe they're in the desert, all these different things. And there's still the space element, and there's all these cool, just different things they throw at us. And I love the Space Herpy. The Space Herpy doesn't look like a sock puppet. They actually put some thought into it. It looks like something that would fucking hurt. But yeah, artistry, Ice Pirates, 100%. And it's probably the highest difference to me between the two movies. Because Krull's just got those things that just date it. There's not as many of that in Ice Pirates. The horses, as cool as it probably was when I was a kid, when I watch it now, I'm just like, it doesn't work for me anymore, guys. The reaching my hand into the lava to get the glaive doesn't work for me anymore. And I don't want to watch you dance across rocks for 5 minutes. If I want to watch that, I'm going to watch Tremors, because at least they're pole vaulting. This one is just let's hop. And I consider that part of the core, and the choreography is part of artistry too, right?
Yeah.
So just the battle scene when they're going through time in Ice Pirates is better than every battle in Krull. That's because it's just, I can't tell you the better parts of any battle in Krull, because the glaive is taking 5 minutes to cut through a door. His friends are dying, and the glaive is still cutting through a door. And that girl doesn't do anything in that movie. She just wanders the hallways.
Right.
Just, I'm over here now. Let me go over here. I'm over here now. Let me go over here.
Right.
It just got insane for me. So I'm going to count that as artistry, and another reason why Ice Pirates is so much better than Krull.
All right. Well, originally I had Krull in my mind. The thing is that both movies present things that I really like: spaceships, robots, Mad Max, giant mountains, big devil guys, cool weapons, fire, spiders, webs. I'm picking. My superpower is that I enjoy for whatever it is when I'm watching it. I don't think about things in the same way. Like, effects don't bother me. Like, I like, to me, like, any Ray Harryhausen movie is equal to, like, you know, a Michael Bay or whatever. Well, Michael Bay is worse because you can't see anything, but you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I get what you're saying.
Infinity War. Like, Infinity War to me doesn't have better effects than, like, Clash of the Titans original.
Right.
Like, it's just,
No, I get you. You can't go by when the time of when a movie came out.
It doesn't matter to me. And
the difference of this is, though, they're not that far apart.
No, but it's not even that. It's like, if my imagination fills out all styrofoam bits. Like,
I get that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when Star Trek, when they beam down, it's like in the old Star Trek, I'm like, yeah, this is a new planet. This is awesome. Like, I'm not thinking, oh yeah, that's that. Didn't we see that rock in? You know, I don't think of it that way. So I'm just going by what has the cooler items. I think Krull has more cooler items in it for me. I like the weapon. I like the mountain. I do like the monster. I like the spider. I like the horses. I like the makeup on the Cyclops' eye and everything.
Yeah.
He's pretty neat.
Oh yeah.
I just think, like, I don't know, because it doesn't look, I just feel like Krull has different things that I haven't seen versus, like, Space or Ice Pirates. Is like, oh, there's like that Mad Max vehicle. Right. We're saying Mad Max. So we have something to say. What does the mountain in Krull look like? Nothing but the mountain in Krull. Like, I don't see that anywhere. Like, it's not something to say, oh, this is a copy of this, but a different version of it. The glaive is a weapon that isn't really, I guess, it's a ninja star. Like, that's the closest thing you can get. Like, someone thought to make that cool. And I know, the horses, that's, you know, they might be not that cool now, but I don't know. I like the giant spider going on the web and you have to go through it and stuff. I don't know. I just think, to me, and the music's awesome. I think Krull just has
great. Yeah, I'm not going to deny the music of Krull for sure. I mean, that works.
Yeah,
you know, and
there's more in there.
I mean, there is. I can't look at that spider though. Like, the spider's cool, but it made no sense in the movie. Like, the whole excuse to get out of there, to where he had to basically die to get away, and she had to die to get away. You're like, what? And to be like, there's nothing out there else that was like this, and you know. That's where we're coming into the spoof thing. Ice Pirates is literally pulling stuff from other movies because that is the zeitgeist. That is what is around it, and it's pulling it in. Krull was earlier than some movies, but to be fair, I mean, there's a lot of Conan into that too, where you see like the castle in the background. We've even done a couple of movies that, you know, there's a big castle somewhere that is, you know, the whole four shot, you know, where they do the painting over top of an existing thing. The matte paintings and stuff. And it's also, I mean, this is where we were going to come into. I knew we were going to tie somewhere, you know, because this is literally now artistry is a tie between all of us. But this is why this is so difficult, is while one is pure about what it's doing, which is Krull, the other one is smart enough to know what it's doing with everything else. You know, so it's like, we can't leave out Mad Max because that's kind of part of the whole thing. We can't leave out spaceships, and we can't leave out some wild guy that we meet that you would have expected in Krull. I mean, Bruce Valanche's character, don't do the removable head, but do like a prince that has a harem and they have to go there to get something or someone. That would have worked in that. Yeah, that's the difference. But artistry is subjective though too. So this being a tie isn't that crazy.
Yeah. I just, like, after we saw the glaive, every person on the planet wanted that, and every person that played Dungeons and Dragons like, I need that weapon in the night. They literally made videos. It's like, there's a guy who I watch, he's like, he goes, when that damn movie came out, everyone's like, I need to find that weapon. And it's like, and then the tower and everything, you're like, that crystally spider. It's just like, wow, this is
Walmart
so neat.
during Halloween had knockoff glaives. They literally
Yeah.
did that. The little blades were spring loaded, so you would push
yeah.
a button,
That's
and they would. I
awesome.
mean, we're talking 2022 that we're still making the glaive, and the
Right.
glaive is awesome. I just got pissed off that it wasn't as awesome as I
The-
wanted it to be in the movie. You know?
It
Yeah,
could barely
it was-
cut through that cocoon, and
It
Oh, that
cut through
cocoon
the
was very
cocoon.
tough.
It was a
Without it, they
MacGuffin.
wouldn't have been able to cut it at all.
It was a MacGuffin, right? And I think that's
It
what
was.
I
Yeah.
learned watching this again, because I had to say, like, what the hell's the point of glaive? But when I watched it now, I'm like, okay, I get it.
It wasn't even that
understand.
great killing the demon either.
No,
You
it
know,
was the
It got
act of
stuck.
it wasn't getting the glaive, it was the act of getting the glaive. I'm like, all right. I get
And
it.
that's fine, and that's where it works for me. And yeah, I'm not gonna knock a movie for when it was made. Yeah, some of the effects aren't gonna hold up, but I am gonna ding it against Ice Pirates because they're not that far apart, and Ice Pirates effects still hold up really well when
Right.
you watch it again. I mean, there's some stuff that you're like, okay, yeah, that's totally fake, obviously, but it's not like the flame we're all bitching about that she's holding. None of that happens in Ice Pirates.
Right.
You know,
No, that's
It-
true.
yeah.
I think Krull aimed higher and didn't achieve it. So to me, I want to reward the aiming. I'd rather be someone like,
Yeah.
we're gonna have this kick-ass tower and this big spider creature. It's like versus like, oh, we could do this and make it look pretty good. It's like, yeah,
But
this
don't
doesn't look as
forget,
good,
Ice Pirates was originally designed to be a legit movie, and the rug got pulled out from underneath them when
Right.
they started because
Yeah.
the studio decided and went, "Oh wait, no, we want this to be a parody."
but-
And everyone, including the cast, was like, "I thought we were doing like a serious like space, like it was even supposed to be like a swashbuckling."
right,
movie.
right.
yeah.
So there's a lot of where you have to be, forgiving for both sides. We all know whoever wins this is got a hell of a mountain to climb when it goes up
Right.
against Space Hunter. Okay,
Yes, yes.
so
I
it's
just
not-
can't remember. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say there's no ruined friendships at the end of this because we're all just waiting for when that next matchup comes up.
Yeah, the Ice Pirates producers like, get that Bruce Valanche kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The kids love Bruce. Let's
I
get him on
love that
there.
Bruce Valanche.
Come
TV's
on.
Bruce Valanche.
TV's Bruce for
That's what they say. Yeah.
Who are we
All
going
right,
to cast as
we-
Robert Ulrich's son? Robert Ulrich.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, we got to get into characters here. All right, characters. Who's got a definite answer? All right,
Well,
Steve.
I mean, come on.
Everyone,
Yeah.
okay. All right, so then we'll go with Charlie first then.
Fine, I'll go first. It's Ice Pirates. I love
right.
every character in that movie. Most of them die in Krull while freaking dude is just standing there waiting for the door to open.
Right.
And the girl is a throwaway character. She's your basic damsel in distress. I don't like her. The Slayers are cool. I don't really count them as characters though. They're just there, and as soon as they're dead, they're dead. They have
Right.
cool deaths. The Seer is probably one of the cooler characters in this, even when he's the other, the main villain. That as a character is still cool. I like the main guy, the bandits. He's pretty fun, but and of course, we got Liam Neeson. But we like that character because he's Liam Neeson now. Probably when I watched this as a kid, he was just another
Right.
character that had many wives at other places. Ice Pirates is, I just kept getting more characters and I had fun with them. As bad as Bruce Valanche is, we are still talking about him right now. He's a shitty character, but we're still talking about him. And this was what Galaxina couldn't do. Galaxina couldn't
Right.
give their characters some depth and, you feel like you care about them. Ice Pirates does that in spades. I mean, completely. Every character, his sidekick, the black guy as he's going. You love the interaction between those two. The robots have personalities. You love
that was
them, man.
cool.
Especially one keeps falling apart, the other one's short, so he's got little man syndrome, so he's always trying to do what the big robots are doing. I love the girl in it and her, her lady in waiting, whatever you want to call her, that's with her. And even the bad guys are pompous assholes and they're funny about it. And I enjoy that whole aspect of the characters. So it's hands down going to go to Ice Pirates for me. They're just more enjoyable characters.
All right, Steve.
I'm going to say Krull. I agree the lead is kind of vanilla. He's a good guy. I don't necessarily agree that he doesn't go on a journey because he is rather impulsive, impetuous, and even at the beginning of the movie, the great old one or the old one or whatever his name is like, you have to you have to learn courtesy in that, and I think he does. I think he learns. I think the reason he's able to win at the end is because he understands the union of what he's doing.
Steven's an important guy. I can tell.
Yeah.
And
I don't even care who it is. It's fine.
I don't care. It's just robocalls all the time anyway.
Yeah, that's all we do.
I agree about the girl. I was really annoyed that she was dubbed. I don't think she needed to be. Was that Anthony? Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't need to be dubbed.
She doesn't need to be dubbed, but they want.
She does nothing. So what are they dubbing?
Right. What was the point of that? They just paid an extra person, put that money into speeding it up.
They wanted her to sound more mature, but I'm like, it doesn't sound like her voice coming out of her throat. Like it doesn't look like it.
Right.
What I think Krull does really good at though is the supporting characters. I really like the old one. I know he's exposition man, but I was really into him and his side thing and his whole thing with the Widow of the Web. I thought that was kind of cool, and that you have that wise man because Colwyn isn't wise yet, right? He's not grown into the king. You need that character. I think it's great that he had that sacrifice at the end for leaving her and whatnot, and that was great. Liam Neeson, I think all of the bandits in some way, well, not all of them because a lot of them are like third man on the left, but like a lot of them are like, I like Liam Neeson. I think that he's a cool guy to go on a quest with. Robbie Coltrane there, he's the guy. I'm not sure, and at the end he dies. He's like, I was wrong, this was a quest we should have gone on. The seer is I love the fact that the emeralds changed the rocks outside the thing, and he sort of laughs. He has that little smile like, oh, you think you could rob me because I'm blind? I love Alan Armstrong, who does not look like, if you see him now and you've seen him in 100,000 things, he does not look like he did in Krull. He looks completely different. He's bald now and stuff. It's crazy. It's
not like Liam Neeson, who you're like, yep, that looks exactly like Liam Neeson.
Yeah, he looks like Liam Neeson.
Yeah, the other guy, no,
Coltrane looks like Robbie Coltrane, except with the porn stash. But anyhow, I really like. I liked all of the supporting characters. It felt like an adventure. I like the young guy who they get at the beginning of the prison. I'll go with you, right? And I like how he's like, I'll keep the manacles as a reminder of this adventure. I'm like, that's awesome, man. Like, there's so much. I like Titch. I like the kid. I like the guy who looks like Eric Idle, who's the comic relief. He looks like Eric Idle. He's not Eric Idle.
All the other, a magician.
Yeah, he actually shows worth. He's not one of these loser characters who never shows worth at any point in time. The Cyclops is going to die, and he still goes and tries and does them, helps them, even though he's going to die a painful, and he does die freaking painful.
Right.
The Beast is a little bit wonky. She's never marrying him. He's a 17-foot high, like ugly sucker. Like, it's just weird to me. But he does pretend to be Colvin at one point with red eyes, which actually I'm like, this is the best version of Colvin. It's like the Beast Colvin. Ice Pirates, Charlie, something you said to me when it faced Space Raiders stuck with me, and I remember it to this day. Is like Ice Pirates, the characters are the spoof. Basically, they are the story. Like they're serving the story as opposed to being in the story and going through the story. And I always remember you mentioned that because I'm like, that's a great point, because I actually liked the Ice Pirates characters over Space Raiders before, and I was the only one. But when I think about it now, you were absolutely right. And I can't really, there are distinguishing things, right, between the characters, but it's not very strong to me. So for me, the characters in Krull stand out a bit more in individual little ways. They aren't as terrific as they probably should be, especially the leads. I will definitely give you that.
Right.
But there's enough going on in the side characters, and they're all British character actors. They know how to make something work when they have nothing to work with. Right. They shine a bit more than the cast does in Ice Pirates to me.
I think you're right. I think it breaks it down into where you have a legitimate character and then a parody of a character.
Right.
A caricature of a character is what Ice Pirates is.
Yes.
You know, so the lead of that of Krull is Robert Ulrich in Ice Pirates.
Yes.
You know, they have to be
Absolutely.
basically the same, maybe not the same journey that they're on, but they have to be the same. You have to be like, that's the lead. It's just one's Robert Kirk, you know, and the other one, I barely remember. Yeah, I barely remember the guy's name, even his character's name, you know, and it's just one of those things of the ones that stood out more.
Yeah.
And it's going to come down to the very last segment we're going to be doing here, which is all about enjoyment.
Yeah.
And I still like a lot of even what Steven was saying is character, but a lot of it's story too. A lot of it's how well they wrote the character, which goes into story. Now it's like, which movie did the actors do better in as far as characters? Was I believing them? And I could see Krull. Again, this is another one that's probably a 0.5 difference for me. You know, but made good points.
All right, Sean.
This is actually tough because I think that the characters in either movie kind of suck as written. It's all very wooden, and honestly, the actors in both movies try their best to breathe life into the characters, and I think everyone's successful. Like in Ice Pirates, I like the characters kind of like, you know, teaming up with each other and stuff and being fast friends. I like that kind of thing. I've always liked that kind of thing. I like when what's his name, Ron Perlman and the other dude, who's always in disguise and stuff, when they're all patting each other on the back all of a sudden, and it's awesome, you know, like you know, the two main guys are like, you know, like buddy cop guys, you know. I love all that stuff. You said, Charlie, with the bad guys, you really hate them. Like the one guy shoots the unarmed injured guy just to prove a point, and it's like, oh, that guy's an asshole, like, you know, after this comedy shit, this guy's a dick. It's, you know, all that stuff is cool. The thing is, Krull, I feel like the character, like kind of saying what the two of you were saying before about story and everything. I feel like the characters in Krull are actually, they believe in what they're doing, and they're not so much the caricatures of Ice Pirates. And everyone's sort of like, even the bandits are sort of like warming up to this loftier goal, you know, than just being a bandit, right? And fighting for something bigger than themselves, right? And they even give voice to that towards the end. I like that kind of thing. And of course, it's really well served by the actors. You know, they're trying. They read the script like, okay, fine, you know, like, and fantasy's big right now. I'll get my name out there and stuff. But you know, they're trying their best with it. I love the blind guy. He's awesome. You know, I felt really, as I said before, I felt really bad when he dies. And I agree. Much, right? You know, Titch was cool. He wasn't just some annoying kid. You know, even the magician was neat. You really want him to succeed. You know, and he's not just some annoying dude. You know, you're rooting for him, and I felt myself rooting for these characters more than I did for Ice Pirates. Ice Pirates, you have fun watching them go through the paces and be wisecracking, funny people.
No, you're not wrong with that. Yeah,
but and that's what they're there for. But I respond more to the characters in Krull because I want to see them realize what they're fighting for. I want to see them awaken to like fighting for the thing, going on this big quest. And I get that, and it's more emotional to me, so I'm gonna go with Krull.
That's fair. I mean, that's a great explanation of it. You did remind me though that one of the relationships with the characters I liked most in Krull, above everyone, was the kid and the magician.
Yes,
I love the bond of those two as the movie went. Even more over the Cyclops, which is kind of the one they're trying to shoehorn, making you feel, but it's the relationship between the magician and the kid, like whenever he transforms himself, you know, into the dog. It's been a little bit.
Yeah, he transforms into the beagle, and then he's like, stupid. I still think it was a stupid wish.
Yeah, exactly. But he does it, so
Yeah.
I love that little dynamic between the two of them. So
Yeah.
fair points. J Man,
All
come
right.
on, man. What you
Well,
got, brother?
I'm gonna say Krull because I don't really like anybody.
That's
in
fine.
Ice
I'll stand by
Pirates.
myself. It's cool. Whatever.
I'll make this. I don't really like anybody in Ice Pirates. It's like they're all okay. I'm like, yeah, they're cool. That's why it lost in Space Raiders. Otherwise, Ice Pirates is really better than But like, I just don't care about anybody. For me, and I'll go right into enjoyment. I like Krull better. The reason I like Krull, I'm usually a characters person. The characters in Krull are not that great. I don't love them, but it's like I just I don't care about anybody in Ice Pirates. Like if anyone dies in Ice Pirates, like, oh, I guess they're dead. Okay, well, here's the next character to come in. Versus like I felt the deaths a little bit more like, oh, that sucks. That guy was cool. Like even though I'm not like, oh my God, like, when Valeria dies, you're like, oh my God, she's dead. This sucks.
That's different.
That's different. This was just like, oh, I like that guy. Oh, he's dead. And then I got over it because we just continue on. And then everyone just gets killed at the end. I'm like, oh shit, everyone's getting killed in this movie. What the hell?
Yeah, because the other dude's just waiting for the door to open and not
without the glaive, it wouldn't have opened at all. And for enjoyment, I enjoy Krull more. I'm always gonna go with a more serious take, even if it's cheesier or not done as well. Comedies for me, I like comedy movies. I like spoofs and all that, but like it's never gonna be a serious attempt, even if it's a lame attempt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I just, cause like my imagination
over this movie originally, right?
Sorry,
you did pick your over Krull originally.
Yeah,
right?
I can justify that.
I know. I just
your opened up my imagination, and I liked all the characters.
You're not wrong about that. I agree with that.
Krull was just too basic.
Yeah,
it was basic D&D, and I like basic D&D versus Ice Pirates, but basic D&D versus yours He-Man in because it has everything I like. It's got robots and fantasy and guns and all the axe wielding and the barbarian stuff.
Right.
And your himself is just the damn best. And I liked everybody, like Pag, and he wins at the end. He survives at the end. Like, yo, this guy's continuing on. I'm like, this is awesome. They're gonna go on the same
yours friends made it. What's his face? And Krull didn't.
Krull's buddies didn't make. Krull was what's his face? Colwyn or whatever was not. Freaking
exactly. Say that again. What's his face?
Yeah,
we can't even be bothered to remember this dude's name.
But I don't remember anyone from Ice Pirates either. I don't remember any. I know that name, but I actually can't. You know what the problem is? I can't picture any. I remember the girl because she was attractive, and I remember like the black guy and Bruce Lynch, and that's it. Like versus like Krull, even if I don't know everyone's name, I remember them.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, that guy looks cool.
Well, you had the hot chicken leather in Ice Pirates. You had Ron freaking Perlman. So the two things that are the most common in these two movies,
he don't
Krull,
do anything. Angelica Houston doesn't do anything.
Angelica Houston. You had, as far as I'm concerned, the hottest chick compared to the Krull chick.
Yeah, of course.
Ice Pirates. And I will, the bandits in Krull are the robots in Ice Pirates. And you know what? Everyone dies in Ice Pirates, and then they all come back to life at the end.
Well, anyway, I don't know. I like Krull more.
It's your vote. It's fine. I'm not going to peer pressure you again.
It's impossible. I can't be peer pressured. It's literally impossible.
Oh no, go watch that first episode again. And it got wild.
That was because I felt bad that a movie I watched 100 times as a kid got trumped by a movie I really only discovered again, recently because of this. So I felt bad, but yours is just the best movie ever. So visit your Facebook group. It is called Yours World.
It's awesome. I'm in it. We're all in it.
We're all in it.
We're doing a choose your own adventure. We're having a blast, and there'll be more as we finish this one. It's so fun.
Once because Could Not Be Reached gave that first poster. That's happening.
Oh yeah,
that is the choose your adventure is going to friggin' go crazy when this happens.
And Reb Brown knows about us.
Yeah, Reb Brown.
Can't forget about that. Reb Brown knows we exist now, man.
Yes, he knows, and he shared my
he did.
little.
It was great.
So yeah, I like Krull more. I love Ice Pirates. They're both childhood ones.
Yeah,
Ice Pirates is awesome. I was shocked that it lost. I thought I was giving it a pass. I thought, let me get Ice Pirates in because I want to And then I was
Yeah,
just
but you
so
put it
stunned,
up against Space Raiders, and,
which I had never
Yeah.
seen.
yeah.
And I was so confident. You can't argue with a confident man. I got the, you know. So,
That's
anyways, okay. So, Charlie, what do you like more?
I'll go next.
I know.
My enjoyment is always going to be Ice Pirates, and it comes
Yeah.
down to Krull just drags.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
fast paced enough. If I want to watch a movie, I want to be entertained, and Ice Pirates entertains the hell out of me. Now, there are better movies than it, but Krull just drags. There's just way too much. If you tightened it up, Krull would be one of the top contenders in this tournament. If you tightened up that movie,
Oh,
and
yeah.
gave me just a couple tweaks.
Yep.
Make the glaive the most badass weapon in the universe, because that's what we're supposed to believe. It's on the freaking cover art. It's on everything. It's everything we remember until you watch it again and you go, ah, damn, that weapon kind of sucks at the end. Ice Pirates, they never like set the bar to this level that you're like they're not after this ultimate weapon and then
Right.
it just shoots confetti and a big bang sign at the end. You know, the joke is we're going to Earth. That's the kick in the teeth at the end of it. But the ride there is 10 times more enjoyable than the journey in Krull to me. So it's enjoyment is going to be Ice Pirates, hands down. I will pop that movie in before Krull. Will I watch Krull again? Yes.
Right.
When I need to take a nap like Sean.
what if you know what would be interesting if they got the glaive and they come up to the guy and they throw it at him and he grabs it and crushes it. Can you imagine
something to
that
make
would have
it
been
interesting?
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and not to mention, it's literally been in a cave just with a couple of inches of lava over it, and it's this talked about in hushed tones weapon. It's right there. You take a left on Burbank. You go up the street.
There's a lot of rocks to climb. You guys are complaining that there's too many rocks.
There's so
Nobody
many
wanted to do it.
rocks. You know, it's
Nobody
a
wanted to
construction
climb up.
area.
No one could do the climb.
Yeah, everyone's cardio was shit back then, so they
Yeah.
were fine. You
They're
know,
all
they get up there.
fatties.
I can't do it, guys. Just let it go. I'm not worried about it. No,
I
it's
can't find that thing. All right, Sean, what do you enjoy more?
I think like 5 years ago I would have said Ice Pirates, but I think I enjoy Krull more. Yes, I know it makes me sleepy, but
I was gonna say you can't enjoy the nap more. What about the movie?
He is getting older.
oh, that's true.
We're all getting older. Thanks,
yeah.
Steven. I feel great now.
And in my old age, I think I respond more to Krull. Like I look forward to watching that a bit more. Ice Pirates I've seen a million times, but it's just there's something. It's like that what's the name of that? It's the Goonies test, right? You know, past a certain age, the kids are too loud, and it's like and past a certain age, Ice Pirates is a bit too obnoxious for me. I don't know what happened there. I love it. I still pop it in from time to time, but like
It's better than Goonies.
But Goonies is cool too. I have
to rewatch it again because I
Goonies got
watched it.
nostalgia. That's Goonies
and
right there.
Goonies is realistic in that the kids are talking over each other and everything. Like it's a realistic portrayal of the kids. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah. But
See, the secret of Goonies to enjoy it is to not pay attention to any of the kids except maybe Sean Astin and Chunk.
Yeah.
And sometimes Corey Feldman, but to pay attention more so to the adults. Robert Davi and Joe Pantoliano are hysterical in that movie.
Yeah.
I love them. I don't know.
They're more inept than the burglars from Home Alone, though.
But
really, if you think about it,
they have so much fun being inept. Charlie, I completely agree. But
you're not wrong. I mean, I give it.
Love Robert Davi. He's like when Chunk's listing off all the things he's done, and Robert Davi. I like this kid. I don't know, man.
It's one of my favorite parts, man.
And that
I crack
woman
up every time they do it.
That woman is a special effect in and of herself. What's her face?
Yeah.
And Ramsey.
Mama
Anne Ramsey.
yeah.
She. I remember her in the Wonder Woman pilot. I think she drives Linda Carter in a taxi or something like that.
No, I don't know.
She's like a lot younger
Wow.
than that.
There was a
But
guy,
yeah.
I think, that drove the taxi.
I have to watch again. I'm pretty sure because I was like, oh my god, that's like a young what's her face. But and
I just remember her from.
She's
Deadly
a handsome
getting the
woman.
basketball in the
That's
head.
all we can say.
Yeah,
Deadly
All right, so
Friend,
Sean.
man.
yeah.
So,
I'm gonna go
Krull.
with Krull. So yeah.
Krull. All right,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yeah,
Come on,
Krull.
Damn it, man! Come on.
Favorite, and
He
I'm
loves
kind
Krull.
of like here's the thing, and I love drawing comparisons. Ice Pirates to me is like Mars Attacks, where it's this really well done, clever parody movie, but it's like, which would I prefer, the best inside joke in the world or something that is more accessible and I don't have to get all the ins and outs necessary to enjoy? For me, I'm always going to go with the serious over the comical, pretty much, right? Like, I struggle with parody a lot. Like, I've never been a big fan of Spaceballs, which is probably one of the best parodies ever. But I like parody. I don't respond to it because I'm like, oh, that's funny in that context that I have to understand, And I think Mars Attacks is an awesome movie, but I don't watch it because it's just kind of like you have to be in that mood. I can put in Krull whenever I want to see an adventure, and I'd have to put in Ice Pirates if I want a clever inside joke. It's just more likely that I will respond to Krull and watch it more than I would Ice Pirates.
That's an interesting way to look at this, is whenever you break it down into one's a serious and one's a parody, because it's obvious when it comes to me, I gravitate to the parodies. I gravitate to the comedy into things. I liked Galaxina over Star Crash. Yep. I enjoyed the comedy they were doing it. And, I'm huge Mel Brooks and Monty Python. And I can watch those over and over. One of my favorite action movies is Hot Shot Part 2.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I will watch it constant. I'll watch it before I watch Rambo. I will watch it to get ready to watch Rambo. That's what I love about it. But that just shows how people's different tastes of movies. And I mean, that explains everything right there, where you're just like, it doesn't strike. My wife hates these things. My wife hates parody, comedy, this whole satire type things, because she just sits, she's like, I don't get it. And I'm like, you got to get this.
Yeah, in order
that. But I have a long line of movie watching and my humor being molded by Ray Stevens growing up, and the British Benny Hill, grew up watching that because that's what my dad's humor was. So I get it, like RoboCop. We just recorded our RoboCop episode. No one should laugh at the guy that says, I'll buy that for $1, unless you're from my generation.
All the time.
That you get the inside joke. They don't explain it in the movie, but every time that guy's on TV, you laugh your ass off because you get what they're doing. It is a straight up Benny Hill kind of thing, and those kind of naughty
I used to watch Benny Hill all the time.
The time.
But Married with Children was exactly that a few years later, right? So,
it's funny, Charlie, because the other Mel Brooks parodies, I love Young Frankenstein. I like Blazing Saddles, High Anxiety, Silent Movie, History of the World Part 1, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
The difference I think it is because those are comedy kind of parodies, but they stand alone as their own on a movie. Spaceballs is literally like, hey, you liked Star Wars?
Yeah.
This is the fun we're going to poke at it. That may be the difference right there, because you're not going to say, well, I can't watch Young Frankenstein because Frankenstein is a masterpiece of a movie.
Yeah.
No, you have to watch Young Frankenstein going, this is actually a masterpiece in its own right. Yeah. And you have to understand where he's coming from. But Spaceballs is, you kind of have to have a real love of Star Wars.
There's inside baseball to it. It's like Steve, you mentioned,
exactly inside baseball.
Yeah, you mentioned Mars Attacks. I love Mars Attacks.
Me too. What is he talking about?
All the time.
Yeah,
I think it's a really damn good movie, and I feel kind of
people hate it. That's what was my point.
More.
Yeah,
I feel guilty that I don't love it more. Because I look at it, I saw it in the theater, I really enjoyed it. And I think I revisited it once and I'm like, I don't have the urge to revisit again. It's crazy.
There's movies like that though. There's mainstream movies that come out. It's too quick off the top of my head, but there's plenty of movies that have come out where you're like, that's a damn good movie. And I will never, ever, ever watch it again. It just doesn't enter my mind that it's like, I want to watch it another time. It was an excellent movie. I'm just not going to watch it again. I mean,
Citizen Kane.
there's a ton of them. I mean, I'm not even getting into the
I've
serious
seen
stuff.
that like 4 or 5 times. easy.
Yeah.
I mean, there
I have to, but I'll never watch it again.
yeah. I mean, there can be some amazing, like even like action movies that you're like, damn, that's a damn good action movie. I haven't watched that movie in 25, 30 years now. And it was amazing. I did that with Blind Fury. I hadn't watched Blind Fury since I was a kid. I watched it again this year going, why have I not been watching this movie again? It's just
shit, fuck.
Shit, fuck. There was just so many other, and exactly, the comedy guy doesn't watch Blind Fury every damn year.
Right.
You know, that is almost a parody of an action movie right there. But there's just sometimes when a movie hits you right, and you just will watch it 1,000 times. So again, there's no wrong answer in this. I mean, Krull won because we're also going to go off the people's choice right there.
Oh yeah, let me tell you the people's choice. 71% Krull.
71%.
I mean, it wasn't 100%, so it's pretty much about what we are.
Yeah,
Say it's like 75% just about right now. You know,
So here's where we're at. So Krull has moved in. There you go, everybody.
It's
Krull
in.
is back.
and it's up against Space Hunter. So first
Yeah, I think
loser.
we're gonna let that breathe for a while.
Are you
Like,
sure you don't want to do that
Very
next
favorable.
week? We're nice and fresh about
That-
Krull.
That might be a 10-minute stream.
we're gonna have to wait on that one. And we just
We'll
did
just do that one on
StarCraft.
Facebook Live real quick, and everyone just raise hands.
So okay, so next week will be the same format. What do you guys want to do out of all of these? They're all pretty fresh.
I'd like to get Outland and Battle Beyond the Stars out of the way.
All right.
Okay.
That's it then.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Basically,
Next
I'd like
week.
to leave the Yore and Forbidden World just before we do Space Hunter and
I'll be
Ice
honest.
Pirates.
I was thinking of that matchup. That's going to be a very interesting matchup.
I mean,
Yore.
I can't be trusted at this point with you.
I know you look at your
I'm-
gun to be in this one.
I can't.
Your
be,
killer or
Can I-
Krull killer?
Can I just say, for even this one, J-Man didn't surprise me. Charlie didn't surprise me. Sean surprised me. I thought he would be way more pro Ice Pirates than he
No,
was.
because Sean understood now that when you rewatch it again now, it's awesome. Like,
When he
there's
said
Yeah,
like
no,
Wait
Steve,
for
you
it.
think you think I hate Krull? I've loved Krull like since childhood.
He was
but,
the
like,
only one that was pro Krull when we did against Yore.
yeah, but Sean has portrayed him. Sean is a pretender transformer or whatever. He's pretending he doesn't like Krull. Because anytime you see him, he's like, oh, it's been a boring ass Krull movie. I'm like, what's your problem?
I loved
He's
his excuse earlier was, I love Krull. I've watched Ice Pirates 1,000,000 times, but I love Krull. Like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's like
I
this
own
big fake.
more Krull comics than Ice Pirates comics. So.
Left me standing alone on my little island of ice over here.
No,
Totally
that's
That's what I
fine.
do,
I'm
man.
fine.
I
I don't
shake
care.
it.
And I'm okay. I'm with you on that one. Like I'm with you. Like I'm with you on the ice. I'm definitely not with you on the Star Crash one. That one that's you drank the Kool-Aid or something on that one. I don't know what happened.
That was straight up Charlie likes parody movies, and I
Yeah,
gravitated
'cause,
to
like-
Galaxina.
because Galaxy
Even
is
David
awful.
Hasselhoff couldn't sway me.
Yeah, like Galaxina is, oh dear God. I was rewatching it. I thought everyone hates me because I made them watch this movie. And then I said, Sean will never talk to me again because he paid for this movie. I was like, Steve is the only one who's going to continue to be my friend because I quickly texted him and said, don't pay for Galaxina.
Thank God for American Tubi. I didn't
Yeah.
have to pay for it.
and then I searched the internet. I was like, people who like Galaxina, my name was the only name that showed up on the internet. And now Charlie's name showed up.
My
which is
name's
great.
now. I'm a little footnote.
Your
underneath there.
footnote. I'm so happy.
J-Man recruited this guy
I
who
did.
loves
I
the
don't even-
movie.
And the thing is like I don't want to recruit you, and I don't want you to be on the team, but you came on it anyways.
I came over to my own free will, man, because it took me 2 days to get through Star Crash, man, and I still don't know who the bad guy is. That's
oh my
all there is
God,
to
it's Joe Spinell. It's the maniac. How do you know? He's got
Cool.
the.
I don't know which one that is.
I don't know how you think he's generic looking. He looks
He's
like
the-
a bad guy.
My God, he's literally
They made him up to look skull-like.
He's so like evil looking.
Did
and
you see
it's like
David
this.
Hasselhoff in the movie? What he looked like? That could have been a bad guy too. Like
I don't know how you confuse.
It's funny because Joe Spinell is the same guy that tries to sell Rocky condominiums in
Yes,
Rocky.
yes.
That's
He's
cool,
nothing
man.
like that
I
in
still
Star Crash. Yeah.
started
Yes,
it the
yes.
second
I'm
day
back.
going, I still don't know who the bad guy is, and I don't know what the point is.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
David Hasselhoff and What's Her Face say their names to
It's
each other.
Stella
for
Star.
100 times. Yeah.
Stella, Prince,
not-
whatever, Stella.
Don't take Stella Star's name in vain. It's like-
No, she is amazing, but Galaxina was also easy on the eyes too.
Yeah, but Galaxy did nothing. Stella Star
At the end, she
actually-
did stuff.
No shit. Stella Star piloted the thing and did the Star Crash. It's called Star Crash. She did the Star Crash. She won.
Galaxina has a
Galaxina-
removable vagina. She wins. Period.
I-
That's all there is
Well,
to it.
but if it's removed, then she's
She comes with
what is she-
attachments, man.
No, but then, listen, if you lose that accessory, it's like when you lost your He-Man accessories. It's like now
There's
He-Man can't
there's a
turn back.
catalog, and you know what? If I got an accessory pack with Galaxina, I'm in. It
It's
might be
like-
different colors, but I didn't give a shit.
Oh my God.
It's descending into chaos here, but no,
Yeah, it
it's
has
fine.
become chaos.
This has been. We're into the final things, man. This has been a blast revisiting these.
Yeah,
movies.
this is crazy.
Good, bad, whatever. This has been so much fun comparing them to each other because I've never thought about these movies more than I have right now. Seriously, these would just be movies that you'd rent, watch it. That was fun, and you go about your day and you watch the next one. This has been
Yeah.
really fun, like digging into them and just being like, let's find the nuances of
Yeah.
Forbidden World against Galaxy of Terror, and it's like they're the same freaking movie.
That was like the best one, I think, for legit.
That one was
actually,
fun. Yeah,
you
that
know,
one.
breaking it
That
down.
one was the one that came down to the lines.
Yeah.
Some of these just couldn't be just the way the movies are.
Yeah.
You know, they can't be that close. If we curated and took a month to curate a list, we could drive ourselves insane. This was kind of fun, just having these inane movies just tossed in it from time to time. You know,
The-
even Enemy Mine was a blast to do, even though we all got done going, that one wins. We're done.
Yeah.
Out of-
Tournament's over.
Out of all of these, next week's Outland versus Battle, that's the only one where, for me personally, I don't have 100%. Like and everyone knows which ones I like out of the ones that are left.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Outland and Battle.
I have my answers for all of them, but you're right. There's certain things about Battle versus Outland that you're like, because they're so different. That
It's
is
so
almost
different.
like doing a parody movie against a serious movie.
Right.
You're literally doing a fun B movie space jaunt against a true dramatic
Yeah.
crime mystery. And it's
I'm not sure.
Charlie's
the-
love of
Watch
action is
Outland,
going to
man.
jump in here.
And
I
check this
saw-
out. The winner of that, though, is going to face Your or Forbidden World, which will be even weirder.
Yeah, that will be weird.
Like,
Yeah.
if it's like Your and Outland, like what the hell? That's going to be the most outrageous, you know. And even if it's like
Look,
Forbidden
I
World,
am
like if it's
ter-
mutants versus Outland, like how mutant?
I
versus
am
Outland?
terrified of Space Hunter versus Yor. Ultimately, I think that's in my mind
I-
the end too, and I'm terrified of that.
I can't do it. I don't
Right.
think I could do that. That'll be.
I like
major-
how Masters of Manic Mexico says he just resurrected Krull in the group.
Well,
chat. This
here-
is
here's
awesome.
here's the thing.
He's the one that yelled at us the most.
he did
I
yell.
walked into this thing saying week one, even though I didn't attend, I'm like, I don't. Krull's going to beat Yor, like whatever. Then I watch and I'm like,
Aztec magic. Yeah, when you watch it again, it's one of the streams I watched myself
Yeah.
after we got done.
I'm like,
it was so insane. I'm like, I gotta watch this again. And
Yeah,
I
I
watched
was
it
like- did I miss the part? Like, did it cut for a second and the frigging invaders from Mars came down and went through the back of the neck and put the
it was
how
a
parasites
it was
are
a
like,
body
what?
snatchers moment. We were
Right,
all
I'm like,
Donald
what
Sutherland.
happened? So literally, even when it was Space Mutiny versus I think it's Space Mutiny versus Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yeah.
I walked into that sweating, being like,
he's like, I have no idea what these idiots are going to do. What versions of the movies are they watching?
Yeah.
I get that a lot because I'll talk about a movie and then somebody will watch it like, that was like not good at all. What are you talking about? I'm like, they're like, when you explained it was I'm like, okay.
For me. I like, even movie reviewers, you have to understand that they're telling you their side.
Yeah.
What they felt when they did it. That doesn't mean that's what you're going to feel. So sometimes you just have to just swallow, the pill and just say, am I going to enjoy it or not? And that's the answer at the end of it.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's made this whole tournament. This tournament could have been bland as fuck. We could have just all gone anyway. We went for this one, reasons. But because it's just been so insane from the start, I look forward to this. Like even I didn't rewatch these movies because I knew them well enough that we talked about them in such depth that I was like, man, we feel like we're going to rehash things, but I don't feel like we did. I feel like we reminded ourselves of why one got rated something or another, but then to compare them to each other just changed the way I look at them even more. It's been so much freaking fun doing this.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy with these weirdo pairings because it's just make it more interesting, right?
I voted for randomizing it. I didn't want to pair them up perfectly, because then I believe it would have gotten boring. Then I would have been like, oh, we obviously know who's going to win this one when it's Battle Beyond the Stars versus Space Raiders, or Space Hunter versus Forbidden World. We're going to know that. Hell, Krull and Yor could have fought again. Immediately after one beat the other. It's just I love the randomizer of it and just not knowing we don't really know what next week's going to be. You're right. I mean,
I have no
Battle
clue.
Beyond the Stars.
No.
I know my answer, but I have no idea. And honestly,
I'm not sure.
I feel like sometimes we've swayed each other. It's not a lot, but there are times we have swayed each other where you're like, shit, I never thought about that. Or I totally forgot that end of it, and that does change how I feel. It's not a number score. This is how we feel one does against the other now.
Yeah, and that's what it's almost like the other categories are almost like who cares? Like it's like it comes down
just
to
jump into like characters and enjoyment.
Right.
Boom. Then just be done right there.
I was saying to J-Man this week, Charlie, enjoyment is literally the category that decides if that movie's going to be on your shelf. We can talk
100%.
about the other four and break it down, but at the end of the day, we all have those guilty pleasure movies where we're like, yeah, it's kind of whatever, but I like it.
If I have 5 Oscar nominated or even Oscar winning movies in my collection, that's it. I'd be surprised if I have that many. So I don't give a shit about how well a movie is or what everyone thinks about it or what it got voted. It's about what does Charlie like? I have a stack of movies right here. It's like, what does Charlie like? And it's that stack of movies right there that don't have awards with them, that don't have anything. They have cool steel books, but that is Charlie's movie collection. And that's what I love. I do action movies and horror movies, but I started just action. That's my bread and butter. And I love them. Not all of them, but I love action movies on the whole, but that's me. There's people that hate action movies,
right?
But me, I love them.
So on that topic, Charlie does have a Facebook group and a podcast, and the link to the Facebook group, it's called "Give Me Back My Action." Well, it's action movies,
so we have
there's horror.
Yeah,
movies.
We got 2 Facebook groups: "Give Me Back My Action Movies," "Give Me Back My Horror Movies." But the podcast is "Give Me Back My Action and Horror." We alternated every other week. Right. My co-host Nate is a horror movie freak. I'm an action movie freak, and it works. And we both like both movies. I like horror movies. Horror movies are stylized action movies. There's still a ton of gore. There's a lot of blood in it, and one's just got a lot more machine guns than the other one does sometimes.
Well, Terrifier. You haven't seen Terrifier 2.
I haven't watched it yet. I
was going to say there's gun action. Okay, never mind.
Oh, I got something to show you guys. Keep talking. I got to show you something on stream.
All right. Well, I'm about to end the stream though. Do you want to show me personally or on the stream? We got it. Okay, and Steve, you got your I've got the link to your website. And Sean, I've got the link to your channel in the description. Okay, you want to show us, Charlie? Oh,
Yes.
Oh yeah, I saw that on your Facebook.
oh my God.
Or not Instagram, sorry.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
wow. Oh, that's so cool. Wow.
Oh,
Whoa.
So it's Nerf then, right? Yeah.
It's
Nerf?
legit Nerf.
I don't think
Yeah.
I haven't seen that here.
yeah.
This I pre-ordered it at the beginning of the year.
Ah,
And yeah, it's the pulse rifle. It's
That's
awesome
awesome.
packaging and 4C batteries, and it's got the countdown counter for the 99 rounds. It has the shotgun thing that shoots the
Yeah.
bigger Nerf bullet at the bottom. I had to show it. I got it the other day and I was like, live stream. I'm showing it on the live stream.
awesome. All right, guys. Well, then that's going to be it. Next week, Outland, Battle Beyond the Stars. Tuesday, Steve and I are talking about some wrestling. We've got Crown Jewel. It is this Saturday, so we're going to talk about that. NXT, Mandy Rose, 1 year of champion.
Next Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yes, okay. I'll if I book it for Tuesday by accident, remind me, and I'll just switch it to Wednesday. Okay, so thank you to everybody who joined us, and see you next week for this Outland versus Battle Beyond the Stars. I literally have no idea who's going to win this one. So, all right, guys, see ya.
Yep.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.